I only use who I am or what I've accomplished for the sake of trying to help other
Yeah.
people. Only
Yeah.
because that's just what it is. I mean, like I say, I'm real. I'm trying to have God pleased with me
100%.
now. That's just the bottom line to it.
Welcome to D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast, Locker Room to Reality. If you didn't know, this DREAMS stands for discipline, respect, education, accountability, maturation, success, locker room to reality. And this gentleman today, definitely, locker room to reality is exactly what it is with this gentleman for sure. He's had some extremely highs in the NFL, and we've all had lows, right? And so we're gonna get into it and talk about everything in between. I got my beautiful co-host Jackie Mitchell. How you doing?
I'm doing great, brother. How's everything?
Good. I'm excellent, man. And the gentleman I was talking about was a second round draft pick to the San Francisco 49ers. One of the few guys to come out of Vanderbilt. Not too many, right? Vanderbilt's known for academics. So, so for you to come out of Vanderbilt, that's definitely a big feat for you. So,
Man, what's
Mr.
going
Jimmy
on, fellas?
Winborn,
How
what's
y'all
going
doing,
on,
man? Good to see y'all, man. Good to see y'all.
Yeah, shit. Good to see
Absolutely.
Yeah. So man. So for our audience out there, I played with Jamie Winborn in 2002 in San Francisco for the 49ers, and then Jackie Mitchell was there in 2004.
Absolutely.
Correct. Yeah, man. So everything come full circle, and we back in the
let's
locker room.
Let's do it.
we do it. Yeah, man. So, man, first of all, welcome, man. We want to thank you for giving us your time. For you to do that, it means the world to us. I'm sure you got a million things to do, but you here, you're here with us. So we definitely appreciate that, man. But we're gonna dive into it. Jackie and I are gonna fire off some questions, and we'll go back and forth and get this thing going. I seen quite a few posts on Instagram, you were like visiting your kids' school and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about your kids, and their personalities, and describe each one of them.
Man,
each one of them to us.
Okay, so I in my previous marriage, I have two daughters with that lady. One's 19 now, and her name's Elmi Winborn, and then the other one, Star. She just turned 17, man. Both of them a lot of personality and all of that. One's my oldest one. She loves music, loves making beats and all of that kind of stuff, and traveling and spending money. You know what I'm saying? yeah. She's like that. Yeah. But my second one is Star. She, full of life, talks a whole bunch. You know what I mean? Never short for words on a car ride, any of that. Real smart stuff. Real pretty frugal type of. We don't never really have to say much to her about spending and stuff like that. She's like that. And then I have in my relationship now, I got a stepson who his name's SJ. Loves video games. He's 11 right now. He's getting ready to be 12. And he's full of life. Those two live with their mom, right? Probably like 20 minutes away. And then here with me is SJ and then my youngest daughter, who is 5, getting ready to be 6. Oh shit, she's a handful of all. Every day happy, just she knows she the boss. So that's them kids. That's those youngsters. So pretty much I'm always back and forth doing something, showing up for their stuff, things like that. Because that was something that meant a lot to me. And part of why I retired as well too. I just was like, my situation growing up wasn't the best in that regards. I didn't, I had people support me and stuff, but that whole mother-father dynamic at the house, that kind of missed me, the whole time, right? So it was a big deal. It meant a lot to me when I'm when I finished to be there every day. I was every year I was winning the Father of the Year award, Volunteer of the Year award, and stuff like that, which really didn't mean shit really to me because hey, I didn't have to work. Other people have to work. right? So how's it fair for me to feel like that's a big deal?
Sure.
And of course they got to go and make money. But I'm fortunate enough to be in a different situation. But I just enjoy being there for them, and that's my time. I've had my fun and stuff, and so I just want to make sure that they pushing themselves to the max and doing what they trying to do something positive in their life.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned obviously your childhood growing up. How did that differ from what you're doing now?
Hell, I mean, when I was younger, my mom, wonderful lady, best heart of a woman that I know. She struggled with some addiction stuff. So I was actually shipped to Texas to live with my aunt and uncle out there. So at that point, and that was probably, I think I was like 8 or 9. But things had been going on for some years, couple years or whatever. But my mom's who put me in football and everything, and but she had her own struggles as far as life. Had a mental breakdown and stuff like that. So, and I just met my father. Like I say, what am I, 45? I just met him 3 years ago for the first time.
Dang, man, how did this happen? And
man, I'm gonna tell you what's crazy.
This is
what's crazy, man. I had cousins when I grew up that knew him and that I didn't know, but I didn't know. You know what I mean? I'm from the country town, way down in Wetumpka, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? And things work a little different down there. You know what I mean? You could be literally living across the street from your dad your whole damn life, not even know. Yeah, TL. Yeah, TL stayed about 15, 20 minutes away from me. I know he from Ellis City and Fred Beasley from Montgomery. So my people know his people and everything. So that's why when I came out there, when he was out there, it was all good because I already know, his family and everybody.
Yeah.
But I can't say that it made a difference back then. Actually, I really can't. Because you don't know what you don't miss. I mean, you don't miss what you don't know.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? I never knew. All I was, I would see other people's lives and they had people there and stuff, but I just didn't know all of that. So, but it was the right values and stuff like that was instilled in me by my aunts. You know what I mean? My uncle. Shout out to my uncle in Texas, Archie Winborn and Cynthia Winborn. They really took me in and raised me, the right way and stuff. You know what I mean? So. I knew what right and wrong was and all of that, but I just never knew. I never knew my dad. I knew his name and all of that stuff, and everybody used to say, "Oh no, he was a great athlete too," and all of this. But back then, getting caught up in the streets and all that kind of stuff, things went left. So, but I was happy to meet him. When I met him, actually met him here in Atlanta with myself. I mean, where I'm living now, and. Man, my mom.
Who put it together?
My mama would always talk to him and stuff like that, but he was struggling with some stuff himself, and I don't ever want people to feel like, oh damn, everybody's just on the struggle. No. When people that were born in that period of time, they were dealing with some stuff that people nowadays wasn't really having to deal with. You know what I mean? Things were different, and we was in the deep South. A whole different ball game. But yeah, I mean, long story short, it was cool, just to meet him and stuff. You know what I mean? Every now and then he'll call or something like that. But shit, I'm 45 years old now. Yeah. I mean, I don't have no pressure and I don't have no bad feelings, hard feelings, or nothing like that. But life got to move on. That's just kind of the way I live my life. I got to make it happen now. That's why I'm like I am about my 100%. Kids.
Yeah, and that's kudos to you, man. You didn't let your circumstances turn into an excuse. Right? So,
no,
right?
Absolutely not. That's unacceptable.
So
that shit don't work in the game of football, baby. And that's all I've done my whole life. And that's what it taught me.
Yeah.
Get better. Go out there and work and get better and wait on your next opportunity. Be ready.
Definitely, man. Yeah, man. We'll turn this thing over to Jackie and let him rip off a couple.
Yeah, man. It's crazy because that's a perfect segue, because I'll be honest, Jamie, I was looking up how to pronounce Wetumpka. And I was like, I want to make sure I got it right. So when you said, I was like, yeah, I got it, But being right there, growing up in Wetumpka, what was it like growing up there? And when did you realize, you could be a special football player and make it out?
Man, Well, I stayed way down on the dirt road. You know what I mean? And I knew I was special with football. The crazy part, I was a hellified running back all my life until I get to like I say, in the beginning, you know, you play the game, pick them up, bust them. I don't know if people know what
Let
that
throw a
is,
tackle. It's just
but
called different, something different in other places.
exactly. Yeah, you need to make it to the other line without getting hit. Is what it is.
Hey, on the West Coast, we call it murder ball.
Murder ball. Okay, yeah. Whoever
Hey,
get
whoever catch it, go get it.
well, I was that cat. I always wanted the ball, and I was fast. Nobody could catch me. You know what I mean? But we had a lot of athletes, though. I ain't gonna lie. We had a whole bunch of athletes, and I didn't know nothing about football like that. To be honest with you, bro, I just was doing what doing my best at what I was good at. You know, baseball was actually my better sport, and so when I like I said, when I moved to Texas, you know, kept playing football, all of that, running ball, you know. Then they introduced me to defense a lot more and all that, and I liked the defense, you know, because defense I felt like I was less dependent upon people.
Yeah,
You get what I'm saying? Like offense, I gotta if my lineman ain't blocking, you know what I mean, I might get smashed. I mean, you know, and I might not have as good in Texas football was a kind of a different level. And so when I got out there, you know, if that lineman ain't blocking them big boy DNs, because we had 6'5", a defense. This is crazy. In Texas, a 6'3", 230-pound DN was like cake. That came all the time out in Texas. So hey man, you gotta get your block, you know. So defense I liked it because I could dance, I could be loose, and I didn't have to worry about somebody else saying this. I already can diagnose the play myself and what the hell is going on. I just got to know who's supposed to get me and beat him and be there fast enough to make the play. So I like that better. But when I came back to Alabama, they had you know, I still say it's the best athlete at our school ever. In my high school, we Tumka, Greg Smith. This kid, you know, he was Derrick Henry before Derrick Henry. You know, but, you know, some other things went wrong or whatever. So that made me not run the ball no more because they didn't need that. So now they put me in linebacker. Never left ever since.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what happened. Never left. I ain't been back on the other side ever again in my life.
Yeah, running around, flying. You can fly around and bust heads.
Yeah, that's all you got to do. I mean, and to be honest with you, I ain't gonna lie. A lot of it came. I ain't gonna say came natural. It did because I had good coaches coming up. You know, I knew how to read guards and shit since I was little kid. You know what I mean? Like seriously, I really did. Football is everything in my hometown. When the football game on Friday night, you might have a hard time getting yourself a Big Mac.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Everything shutting down, man. Like we take this very, very seriously. When people, you know, I come from one of them towns. You know, people when we used to go to play people. You go down there and beat the world out of them, man. You know, we need a real police escort up out of there.
That's how it is.
Because they take football serious like that, too. You know what I mean? So, I love that, though, man. That's what it's about, man. And that's why I feel like these kids got to get back to, man. Yeah, they don't understand, man. It's football, man. That's all it is.
It's football.
You got to love that shit, man. I still love it. I still sweat and shit watching the game, get pissed off. I still have all them emotions. I just can't play.
Yeah, man. That was back, man. And I don't know if you guys had that, Jackie, where because I went to Dominguez High School in Compton, California, and our rival was Linwood High School. And I mean, if we saw them on the streets, it was on site, right? It was just like I remember playing them in a 7-on-7 we played them in a 7-on-7 tournament. Got into a fight, like. It was just that's what it was. Matter of fact, I just thought a basketball game. We played in a basketball game. So Dominguez at one time had Tayshaun Prince and Tyson Chandler on the same team. And dude, I mean, so it was just a big rival. You know, people, you know how in high school in the gym. Man, my homeboy, I never forget Marquell Crooms. And it's my, you know, you had the game. And here, look. I got on I got on a Navy pea coat. I'm dressed up. I ain't even in fighting material. You know what I mean? I don't have no fight material on, man. I'm looking good. I'm pretty this day. And all of a sudden, dude, they cheering, you know. Anyway, man, it pops off. I'm like, damn. I gotta come
up out of that, baby.
Quick. Like, damn.
You get hit,
man. So no, man.
Football's big out there, man.
Hey, but I something that I didn't know. You had a battle with cancer. And it was funny, you and I mean, well, you, myself, and Jackie, we were just talking about when we talk about, we say, we getting old, we are old, and then we're blessed to be here, because a lot of people didn't, a lot of people aren't here that we went to play college football with. One of our brothers, Jimmy, we knew Jimmy, we knew Jimmy when Jimmy was in. When we met Jimmy was like, he was at Vanderbilt.
He was in Vanderbilt.
Because we used to train at Jimmy's high school because we both went to Southern University in Baton Rouge, Jackie and I. So right, that's a great dude, man. I remember when Jimmy. I remember we went to Osaka.
Mr. Episcopal. That's how he went to Episcopal High. He went back and was coaching there. But Jimmy was Mr. Louisiana and all that, man. He was that man down
Crazy
there, dog.
Part, Jackie. So we go. Our first preseason game is in Osaka, Japan, and you're right.
Oh yeah.
So Jimmy got braids, corn. You don't know, but Episcopal is an academic school, and of course Vanderbilt. Man, Jimmy gets off the plane. Man, Jimmy speaking Chinese. Japanese, fluent.
Yeah. Listen. I spoke at his funeral, and that's one of the things that I told people. I was telling people, I was like, man, this dude, he just could do everything. He was so talented with, academically, like mentally and stuff. Smart. And I was telling them at the funeral, I was like, here's this dude from Louisiana talking about he was an exchange student in Japan and he speak the language. Then I told him, I said, damn, if we didn't go to Osaka, Japan, and guess who got to do the translate for us? I mean, this dude is actually talking. Like I'm talking about, and then I told him at the funeral, I said, "Well, hell, it ain't like I knew if he was right or not."
Yeah, we don't know.
but we was moving around like it was. This dude was. I said, "Man, this is crazy. This is a wild dude right here that can speak like that." Yeah, that was a blessing though, man.
We before we dive back into it, Jackie, we in Osaka, Japan. I'll never forget this because that was around that time Rush Hour had. Remember Rush Hour? They went to the so it was like, I don't know, it was like probably 7 or 8 of us. We walking the street. It's humid, people everywhere, dog. So I played in NFL Europe, so we had two international players on our team. So one of them was from Osaka, Japan. So he met us out. So he taking us around. So we try to go to a club. I think I told Jackie the story. Man, they wouldn't let us in because we had a couple of linemen with us, and then I'm 6'3", everybody. We're not regular looking people. Man, them people, man, we tried to get in the club. It was popping in there. We like, we gonna go in and see what's. The bouncer was like, no, you guys too big. These guys too big. They know if something pop off, they can't do that. So hey, look. So somebody, I don't know who it was. Somebody was like, man, I want some moose shoe. From the like this. So it's like, man, so it's like the massage bar. So the massage.
Yeah.
So everybody is like, come on, all right, let's go. So man, we walk, we go down there, come down, I don't know, back alley, dude, knock on the door. Man, dude open the door. Dude said, no, dude was like, no. He said, they said, no, you guys can't come in. You guys can't. Why not? He said, you guys too big. You hurt our girls. You guys too big. I said that. Hey,
listen. I still got some money from Osaka though. Like I kept it in my little bag. I wish I had it if I know we were finna talk about this. I wish I could have, because I have saved that money, dog. I still got that money, and the only reason we still got that money, like you, because you can't. They wouldn't let us do that. They wouldn't let us go nowhere.
I remember that, man.
Yeah, strip clubs joined too. One of them let us in for like 2 minutes, and I think that was a mistake. Because then they came and said, "No, y'all gotta get out of here. Y'all can't be here." So I was thinking they was racist for a minute, but I realized what it is the language barrier for the girls.
Well,
and that was one thing that I think it was too. And then I don't know about the rest, but I think that was the main thing. You know, because it's a weird place, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. That was one of the wildest experiences I ever had in my life.
Yeah, it
I
was
ain't gonna
hot,
lie.
Jackie. It was so humid. Boy, you walk out that, come out that hotel.
Listen, we could be walking down an alley, and it's like a trash can and shit like that. You just see tons of people walking, and then when you go and get in that crowd of walking, you're in the middle of a mall that's like a high end mall. I was like, this is wild out here. I mean, it was nice though, man. It was an experience. I would recommend anybody. Y'all gotta check that Osaka out. And it's really hot as hell.
It's humid.
Lord.
Yeah, man. But no, man. But talk about your like I said. First of all, congratulations, man, on beating cancer. But talk about what type of cancer did you have, and talk about the experience in terms of, you know, getting through the treatments. How did you find out, and what were you going through emotionally?
Okay. You know what, man? It's crazy. So, you know, I was with the Titans in 2010. I think it was 09. I was with them 09, and 10. You know, CJ went for 2000 and 09. So 2010 coming around, it was like I was having a problem keeping my weight, right? And I didn't know what the hell was going on at this time. You know what I mean? Like at this time, like there's no thought of anything ever about a cancer. But so we would have 9-on-7s and stuff during the season, and I would have these pains, man, in my stomach, and it just almost like in my rectum. You know, not like directly in my rectum. You know where your butt bone is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I kept feeling like, I was like, damn, why I keep having this pain? Because it feel like somebody done took, you know, like Terminator, how he jumped on that damn car and put his fingers like that not in my butt bone. I felt like somebody was trying to pull it apart or something. The bone. So I couldn't explain it, and I didn't know really what to say. So I would lie to Coach Fisher, go in the damn locker room, go in the stall, be in there and be crying in that thing for a second, wipe that shit off, get back out there, go back out there and play, go back to 9-7. Okay, so they was giving me shakes and shit, all this shit, like in the meetings, like they bringing me shakes and all, cause I'm trying to keep my weight up. For some reason, I can't keep my weight up. You know, I'm down like 210, 212.
Yeah, you was 225 and was in San Fran.
That's what I'm saying. Like I know I'm doing a lot of running, but shit, I ain't doing that much. You know what I mean? And I'm working out all the time. I was like, man, I'm eating as much as I can eat. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, I ended up getting hurt or whatever that season. Bless him beyond God, didn't even know. So so then I just decided, you know, like I said, with them kids, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna retire. Fuck this. I'm done. I just kept going on these stints. Stomach hurting real bad, going to the emergency room. Went there probably like 3-4 times. So I started getting checked out again, you know, but everybody the doctors kept saying I had H. pylori, you know, like, they would say it's food poisoning. It was the 4th doctor that I went to, specialist, by the way, that actually saw it and came out and said, man, you have a tumor. And I was like, man, a tumor? Shit, you mean cancer? And they was like, yeah. And I was like, wow. And I was like, damn, cancer? You know, I'm in disbelief. You know what I'm saying? Because now everything's adding up. And he said I was in stage 2, getting ready to go to 3. So in order for that to have happened, that means I had it when I was playing that last year. Because I got my cert, you know what I'm saying? I was going to the hospital like this was 2011 and stuff, and losing weight. And it seemed like once I found out I knew I had it. That's when I felt like I got even sicker. You know what I mean? Like, because mentally I was like checked out because I really didn't understand it all the way. But then I had to go through the procedures, right? So I had to do the radiation first, and then that shit fucked me up. You know, I got down to about 150 something. Yeah, 150 something. Then I had so after the radiation, because that was to shrink the tumor. And so now we do the surgery. Now I gotta have the colostomy bag, you know, shit bag. That's what people call it, but you know, colostomy bag. That's what it really is. And I did that for 6 months. But meanwhile, while I was doing that, I was getting the chemo. Go in like once a week or whatever, and for like 5 hours and stuff.
Damn.
and do that. Then I take at the end of that 5 hour, I take the chemo pack home because I had a port put in me, and I do that for 48 hours. Then after 48 hours, I got to take it back up there to him or whatever, right? And so then everything went well with the stuff. I mean, it was a struggle, no doubt. You know what people like COVID? How people say, like they smell, they taste, everything was different. Well, that's what it's like when you getting chemo.
Yeah.
Except you're really not hungry. Everything tastes different of all kind of. I could taste the air. I could taste the smell.
Yeah.
I could smell smoke. Like I could taste. Like my senses were crazy. It was crazy, but so I was able to get that bag reversed, but I ended up having to have a what they call a J pouch, right? Which is where what stores your stool. So I have like the J pouch in there.
Okay.
So it's basically a bag inside instead of hanging out.
Got you. Yeah.
Get what I'm saying? But it can never be replaced or fixed or none of that. It's got to be. I'm stuck with that forever.
Yeah.
Right? So like I said, I went down mentally. All the why me gods. Like, man, all I do is try to help people. This type of that. But but just had to pick myself up. Of course, I had plenty of family members, people supporting me and stuff. But the biggest thing was I had to figure out. I watched a lot of comedy. I wanted to laugh because, I got that information from some of the people that were in the hospital with me getting the chemo. That they're in a further stage of treatments and stuff than me, and and it was recommended that you want to smile as much as possible. So maybe comedy, watch funny movies, stuff like that, and that really helped me. And I knew my life had changed from there, because at that point I had, like I say, the radiation that I did severed the nerve to my bladder. So what that meant was now I don't really feel it until it's like right away. I gotta go there, and so people catch me with my hands down my pants all the time. I be walking through the whole grocery store headed to the grocery to the bathroom. And on road trips, stuff like that. Sometimes it could get so bad that I just put my Depends on, and that gives me a little safety. Like when I take a flight, I normally put that on because I can't get up and go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And obviously eating and stuff like that has changed forever. You know what I mean? One day I could eat something, be fine. The next day, shit got me, going to the bathroom 15 times. But it's just part of what comes with it. Because but like I say, a lot of people didn't make it. Two people died. When that used to be beside me getting my chemo, come back in the next day, he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, where he at? Oh, he didn't make it last night. What? Damn. He was younger than me.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And so just put life into perspective for me. Now I won't lie, there was a time period for me. Oh, now I gotta live now.
Yeah.
That's you know what I'm saying? So I blew through some money. You hear me?
You
hear me?
It's old. We been
Oh, no, because just the feeling of thinking, damn, I'm doing all this fucking saving and trying to do this and that, and here it is. I might have just could have checked out, and I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, so I'm finna live and have fun, but obviously then hell, I was going through a divorce at that time, so it was like, damn, everything was just coming down on me, whatever, but. But I got myself back together with that, and just get back focused. You know what I mean? That's all it's about, and understanding and accepting that, hey, this is just what it is. Hey, you think your shit's bad? There's a person over there that can't talk or got no legs. So what you crying about?
Yeah.
What you bitching about?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You and you did get to come out of Wetumpka, Alabama. I'm still to this day the first and only player to ever go pro from my high school.
There it is.
I'm still the only black person to go to Vanderbilt, if I'm not mistaken. And graduate.
Yeah, that's huge.
So what are you crying? What are you whiffing about? This is just a rough patch time. You can get through it, bro. Like, and that's what I had to come to my senses, and it took some therapy. You know what I mean? Shit like that. and understanding myself and why I was feeling that way and all of that, and just getting back on track and just remembering, hey man, do you really know who you really are? You know, and that was helpful. You know, at that particular point in my life age now. Now that I'm older, I don't even all that, you know, do you know who you are shit, that shit's out of there for me, you know, because I just feel like I'm just like anybody else. That's how I feel. You know, I was using that tool, that format, to bring me out of a particular type of thinking, based off of what I was going through. But now that I'm older, I only use who I am or what I've accomplished for the sake of trying to help other people. Only because you know that's just what it is. I mean, you know, like I say, I'm real. You know, I'm trying to have God pleased with me now. That's just the bottom line to it, you know, and you know, and help other kids and stuff, help other people. Maybe something I'm talking about can help 100%. Somebody else.
Jamie, man, and continuing to what you said, man, it's crazy because it segues right into the next question from what you shared with us. And man, thank you for sharing, because I don't think many people knew that. I know that I didn't. I don't know if Scott did, you know, but to know you were at 225, 230, going through the medical side of it, you know, the cancer, and going through a divorce. And it's crazy because the next question, it was like from 2009 to 2011. So now it's crazy because hearing what you said makes sense, and then you'll be able to elaborate more. 2011, you had a situation at night that resulted in police brutality. Can you tell us what happened that night, and did that alter your attitude toward law enforcement?
Man, yeah, it did. It definitely did. Basically what ended up happening that night is I was in a club and I was with my ex-wife at the time, who at that time was working at CNN and all of that, and so I had a sling on because I had a rotator cuff surgery as well. Remember when I was telling you I was going back and forth, was sick in the hospital? Well, I also was supposed to get my shoulder surgery, and which I had gotten that. But after the surgery, I got sick again, and then that's when I had to start going to the doctors, the specialists, and that's when I found out about the cancer. So I never did even finish the rehab on that because I had to go into something else. But anyway, so this girl who in the club, I was trying to, you know, it's real packed, and I'm trying to slide by her to go to the bathroom, and all of a sudden she just turned around and was like, "You trying to touch my butt?" and swung on me. I mean, this is like a 5-second, like, yeah. But so, and then like, I guess her boyfriend, all of them, you know, they start, you know what I mean? It just is a rumble now, you know? And I'm 1 week out of listen, I had to come out the sling to fight. So, but long story short, the security people in the club was like, "Yo, we saw the whole thing. You didn't do nothing wrong. Everything's good."
Damn.
It's crazy because in hearing what you shared with us, it leads right into the segue of the next question. You know, so it's kind of goes hand in hand. And if I didn't know any better, now I understand. So with this question, it kind of goes right in. So it's kind of like in 2011, you had a situation at a night spot that resulted in police brutality. Can you tell us what happened that night, and did that alter your attitude at all toward law enforcement?
Yeah, actually, it did. I mean, I think the main thing with that night, man, basically, you know, there was altercation inside of the club. You know, I wasn't at fault at that, and security had already made that that acknowledgement, and he said I could just go home, man. This dude, you know, he's been tripping in there. So, but I went home. I went to my car outside, which is down in the parking lot, probably like, you know, like a 2-minute walk down the street. But I didn't have the key, so I come back to ask the guy in the front, like, "Hey, man, can you look for my sling real quick, man? You know, because I just had surgery and my arm is hurting." And but the thing is, I had to call one of my buddies in the club. I mean, outside the club, and told him, like, there's some guys in here, they screaming that they, part of blood gang and all this type of stuff. And they talking about it's going to be gunplay and all this. And I saw one of them when the security had me outside. The guy walks around the club, the back of the club, one of them. So I called my buddy, and he was just right up the street anyway. But, they pull down real quick in the front, you know what I mean? And so I go out and talk to them. And the officer just called me over there and was like, yo, you want to go to jail tonight? Mind you, I ain't seen this officer wasn't a problem when I was leaving the club. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when I come back up to him, when he, and he was like, you want to go to jail tonight? And I was like, what you mean go to jail? I said, man, I didn't do nothing in there. They jumped me. I said, they were talking about, gunplay and all that stuff. So I called my homeboy to make sure I could get home, whatever. He was like, well, I don't like your attitude out here. I was like, what? You don't have to like my attitude. I said, man, I ain't did nothing wrong. And the next words out of his mouth was get down. And I'm just like, get down for what? You get what I'm saying? And before I could say anything else, he had done hit me with a bit of club on my leg. And I'm like, and my first reaction with that was like, man, what the fuck you hit me for? Look, man, I ain't nobody hit me with no club. Listen, that shit just took me back on some shit. Like, really, bro, don't nobody do all that.
Right.
And I know you have no reason to do that to me. No reason at all. I'm just asking, why are you telling me to get down? I ain't committed no crime out here and I ain't did nothing. Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't know it was a crime to call somebody to make sure you get home. Mm-hmm. They didn't get out the car with no guns and shit. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So he tried to hit me again, but up high, and I blocked it. And then one of his other, it was two more officers there too. And then they maced me and all kinds of shit, like right there in front of the club. By this time, my ex-wife, there was a crowd of people and stuff out there at that time, and it's like it just went haywire from there, man. And what's crazy about that is, this guy tried to sue me, right? The officer tried to sue me, saying that when they wrestled me down, that his arm was broken, was broken underneath me. Now I didn't know. From my understanding, he tried to sue me 2 times. That didn't work. Okay, while I was going through my divorce, all this other stuff, this cancer, all that, I was put out of my house on protective order. Evidently, he served me at the house, but I never knew nothing about it because I was on protective order from that house. That's the last time I ever lived at that house. And man, judge granted him $1 million default judgment. And I didn't know about that then. I had transferred some money back in 2017 and went back to the bank, and like they had just took like $200,000. What? And that's when I go to the back and find and realize, damn, this case. I thought that case was closed, but evidently they saying I missed the case and all of that. But long story short, man, I ain't gonna say it just changed my mind, changed my view on them, because I always thought the same thing about them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I got some in my family, down there, but they know what time it is. I mean, these some of these up here in Atlanta, you know what I mean? Some of them decent, some of them not, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? When I look back on the night, and I think if I could ask myself, like, hey man, what would you do? What would you change about that night? I'd have said, I wish I'd had my damn keys on me. Mm-hmm. And I took my ass on home when they asked me, when the security guard was allowing me to go home. Mm-hmm. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. That's the only thing I could have changed, because anywhere I am, bro, like, I'm not getting down. You want me to turn around and I'm under arrest? That's one thing. But ain't no reason for me to get down.
Right.
See, get downs is that's a whole different level. That's a whole different thing. Mm-hmm. Get what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's where the miscommunication came. It already escalated because of him saying he didn't like my attitude. But you just a law officer, bro. You really nothing. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying you're not nothing, but you don't have to like my attitude, man. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I have to do what you asked me to do or whatever, but you see, you escalated it yourself when you asked me saying you don't like my attitude. And that's why I responded, you don't have to like my attitude. I didn't do anything wrong out here. Yeah. And your next thing was get down. How that happened?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But I know how it happened. You already knew who I was.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This whole time, you already knew exactly who I was, everything. And when y'all was wrestling me down, all the folks out there, yo, he played professional ball. He just had arm surgery, shoulder surgery, all that. That's what it was.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it ain't nothing, man. You know, I put everything in God's hand, and man, maybe that was God's way of letting him get some money. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I can say about it. But you know, I'm pretty nice to officers everywhere I go. You know, because I've ran into some good ones and everything, man. But some of them, bro, that one he just wasn't it, dog.
Yeah.
And I'm not being, you know, it's not like I'm being racist or something or biased. You know, I met some dirty ass black ones and all that, but I've met a whole lot of good ones. You know, good white ones, good black ones. I mean, good white ones, bad black ones. Yeah. This happened to be a bad white one. You know what I'm saying? And that it is what it is. Yeah. And this was crazy. I think this guy, I don't even believe this guy, like, you weren't like patrolling there, the area or no shit. You were doing some off-duty shit, trying to make extra money type shit. You see what I'm saying? Turn out this dude was a captain and everything. What the fuck you doing out here? Oh, you out here for the lick. That's what you out here for.
Oh yeah.
In Buckhead. Here's my opportunity. So I'm not crazy, bro. I know what it is, and you know, I don't think I could have did anything differently that day, to be honest with you, except left and had. Now when I go to a party, I don't care who I'm around. I don't take cars to party and shit like that, because if I need to get up out of there, I need to be able to get up out of there. So my keys in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's what I learned. Yeah. And anybody watching that, you put their keys in your pocket so you can do what you need to do.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, man. Because being standing out there waiting, that's how he was able to tell me to come here. Just because you saw me talking to my buddies. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. I look back at it, I said, well, maybe he thought this was going to be some trouble, but why? You didn't say nothing when I told you to do walked around the back and what just happened, and they screaming blood gang and they screaming all this stuff, this gunplay stuff. But just because these people roll up in these $200,000-$300,000 cars, you thought it was a problem. With the cars that just pulled up, you thought that was a problem. Man, what kind of problem? What they were gonna do? Throw some money out there or something? Exactly.
Yeah. He knew.
Come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it's cool though. Like I say, but that's what that situation was, man. And you know, that was at that time, and that was right before, like I say, getting sick, going back and forth to the emergency room, and like within weeks of that, the cancer. Found out about the cancer.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was.
It's literally back to back,
bro.
So I man, when you were sharing it with us earlier, like when I look at the question, like I understand you had every right to be upset. You had every right to have this, you know, I ain't gonna say chip on your shoulder, but kind of like, damn, like you said, like why me? But you didn't have that approach. It was just the way things unfolded. Yeah, and that's the greatest thing about it, man. That approach wasn't, you know, given. And you know, people do abuse their power. We understand that. It's
absolutely
power. The crazy
but it ain't
thing
nothing, listen, but it ain't nothing that my people ain't dealt with in many for hundreds of years.
Exactly.
And not even to this extent, to a way worse extent than what I experienced. And so I had to just look at their life and say, hey, man, you know, it's just a storm that I'm going through. It just happened to be a pretty long damn storm. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But there's light at the other side of the tunnel. And I think that's, you know, I got to that place, you know, like I say, with therapy, everything, man, just, you know, I just had to get to that place, bro. And because having that anger and all that, And all that does not help you, no matter what. Each day that you upset about something that'll pass is another day that you wasting.
Well,
so you got to move on. You know, just like football, dog. I can't be worrying about that shit that happened in the first quarter. That shit over with. I got to make a play out here in the fourth and the third and the fourth, bro. I got to. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And one day was not the defining thing for me, mm-hmm. as far as my life. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I know I had an opportunity to change it, and if you can't change something, I learned, change the way you think about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If you can't change something, just change the way you think about it. Yeah. And that's what I had to do, like I said, and it's been working, man. I still use that same mentality to this day, because there's always good and bad days, but I ain't having no pity party about it. I just got to keep moving, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want people to really understand what you just said, and that was a great analogy. Something happened in the the first quarter, mm-hmm. and I got to let that go.
Got to.
Right, that's over with. Right, control what I can't. That happened. Now I can control my attitude and effort moving forward. And also the other thing is just encourage people to, when you're having issues, to seek help, therapy.
Oh, absolutely. Right? You hear me repeating that very vividly.
Yeah, because our people, just people in general, right? They think it's everybody wants to be tough because that's how we were raised. Yeah. But you need
it became deeper than that, actually, man. See, and I'm gonna tell you what the blessing is, how Lord to do it, right? They put me in a drug program, right? Mm-hmm. They put me in this drug program, which and at first I was just like, man, I ain't got no fucking drug problem, dude. What the hell I'm in here for? Mm-hmm. So, but I actually ended up with one of these the most awesome sponsor, dog, right? Mm-hmm. And so he was like, yeah, I'm listening to you, and you're not an addict. Mm-hmm. He said, so, but they mandated this for you, so let's just go through it and see what's going on with you. Mm-hmm. And when he said it, and he's absolutely right. So as in breaking down my childhood, everything, it's like I've been fighting my entire life for myself, right? Didn't have a parental, the setup structure, mom and dad at the house type thing. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like I say, my uncle them did a great job helping me, my aunts, everybody that's ever been a part of my life, trying to help me. But it still wasn't enough. Mm-hmm. There was missing parts about it, right? Mm-hmm. So I've always been a person to fend for myself and stuff out there. And but I learned that I was hurt about a lot of that shit. Mm-hmm. I didn't think I was. Mm-hmm. Because I was, like I said, you can't miss what you didn't have. Mm-hmm. But in doing this therapy, I'm writing, I went through the whole steps, all of this shit, like just doing a lot, bro. I'm writing pages and pages of stuff about myself, looking at it like, damn, I didn't even know that about myself. Mm. But I see it now, but I only learned that because I had somebody going through it with me.
Yeah.
Now I did that as well as go and talk to a counselor, as well as go to therapy. I did all three.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because I had to let this other guy go. There was another person too, right? And everybody has that person. They don't, some have came out more and some don't know about him. And if I could tell anybody that, and that's even athletes or anybody, what do I mean by that person? Some people, that person comes out when they're upset. Some people, it comes out when they have drank too much. Some people, it comes out when they have gotten too damn high or something, or somebody's pissed them off, or their feelings are hurt. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Or some type of tragedy happens in their lives. Okay, so now that's that alter ego person. It's really not the person that you want to be, or that's a person that will excel in life. It's a person. It's that guy that he's typically a more fun person, mm-hmm. but he is the motherfucker that's gonna have your ass sitting in that jail cell. Mm. Yep. You have to identify when that person is knocking on the door inside your body. Mm. and you have to close that. You might open that door, peek out the. Oh hell, no, I can't let you. That person got to go, because if you do not, boy, it's only a railroad, a path for destruction. It just is, and that's what I learned in all of those therapy sessions combined. That there is a person, and that person for me was also that person that would come out during football.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So people always say, "Oh, football players are crazy." Well, the jail was full. The jail was filled up before fucking NFL football was even involved, even a fucking sport.
Yeah.
So that's not it.
Yeah.
That's not it. It's just not us, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's everybody. And every person, we just have to identify it and understand, hey, man, let that person go. And then my person had a huge ego. You know, my ego was just too big. And it came from me growing up by myself, all these years people picking on me, people talking about my family, people saying I wasn't going to do this. I was going to be just like my pops or my moms and shit, like, you know. I built a big ego defense, and I had to let that shit go.
Yeah.
Had to let it go, dog.
Yeah.
Now I'm actually, I feel free. I feel happy. It's just, I'm just more knowledgeable about the fact that, hey, yeah, I know there's two sides of me. I ain't running around here saying to everybody, I'm just the best guy in the world. I've always been the guy that, you know, don't F with me. You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna mess with you, but you definitely need to think twice about messing with me. Yeah. And that's that ego that I had. But now I'm just like, shit, man. Whatever I did wrong to you, dog, or whatever you feel about that, I'm sorry, in a sense. And I try to get on, because when that other guy comes out, it's a problem. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And I have to, in order for me to make it in this life, I have to have that guy has to stay away. That's just all it is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's deep, man. That's amazing. I think definitely people will hear this and get a lot of value. And there's so many people who have issues, and like you said, don't realize it. Right. And it stems from our childhood, so many different traumas. We had a mental health specialist on, and we learned a few things about, you know, just different traumas and things that happen for taking our lives and stuff like that, and how it comes back, you know, and we don't even realize it. So, but man, we can, man, this is something going on and on about. But I just want to ask this is going to be for all three of them, just really quick. We've all been divorced, because I think the thing is, in the everybody wants to know the secret. How do I have a successful relationship? Right? Everybody wants to. Divorce rate is 70%. Right? So that means when people go get married, everybody want to get married. Woo! We get married. I line up 10 people. I line up 10 of y'all. Yeah. Seven y'all ain't gonna make it. Seven people ain't gonna make it. You see what I'm saying? And we were all on that side, in that 70 percentile. And I'll ask you first, Jackie. This is just something quick. Just one thing. Just one thing you would have done different. Just really quick, and then I'll answer, and then Jamie. Just one in your marriage, Jackie. Just one thing you would have done different that you know now.
I would have said something earlier. And what I mean by that is that what I was going through, somewhat what Jamie, you know, described, I wasn't ashamed. It's just that I've always been, you keep your house in your house. You see what I'm saying? It was never a thing like, because you have to understand, for me, you know, my ex-wife was from Houston. I moved to Texas. I didn't have any family. I didn't have any support. I didn't have anything. I just wish I would have said something earlier. Like, we were talking and things were happening and I was seeing it and I was living through it, but I'm just trying to get through it instead of addressing it. And that's the difference, because as Jamie said, it builds, because everyone has an alter ego. I don't care who you are, you know, because even when we play sports, I would tell people all the time, it's not who I am, it's what I did. That's how I separated mine, you know. But I think for me, just as much as I love to communicate, I didn't communicate effectively enough where it brought my happiness about. I always thought of my wife's happiness, my children's happiness. I was always last. I was always last, you know. And as someone like you, Jamie, I didn't have the parental guidance. I grew up in a single parent home. So that's what I would say. The communication and honestly putting myself first, because if I'm putting myself first, that means I'm okay. That means I have the ability to communicate that. That means I'm not worrying about anything else, because how you lead is how your household goes as the man. I'm just sorry that I could be wrong in some cases, but most of the times that's what it was. So for me, it's a communication, realizing it early and saying something. That would be mine.
And that's something that people have to realize, is to put themselves first. I have to put my mental health first.
Exactly.
I have to put my physical health first, because I have to continue to grow. If I'm going to lead this household, if I'm going to be a better parent, a better husband, right? I can't put myself last, and that's a critical mistake we make, right? You know what I mean? And I always say, one of the things is people get married and then have kids, and the kids come first before everything. No, your spouse come first.
Yeah,
true. And you see what I'm saying? And like I said, this is a quick summary, but I just think people need to hear this and learn from it. I think for me, I would have been my true self, instead of trying to bend and whine to make her happy. All right, you see what I'm saying? Because when you do that, it's just a matter of time. It's a ticket time bomb, because it's only so long you can be somebody else. Like they say.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it would have been, no, this is who I am. And there's some positive changes I can make or whatnot, but this is who I am. And if you're on board, you're on board. If you're not, then we know that. But because I, wasn't my true self for so long, here again, it drug it on, and eventually it came to a head. Right. So yeah, that would be for me, man. So I always say, man, be with someone where you can be your true self. Because when you do that, when you can find yourself, when you find yourself, you find true love, and you feel, and you're free. It's amazing, it's just it's just an amazing feeling. So the same question, what's one thing you do, Jamie?
I felt like I was a little, I ain't gonna say I was too young, but I think I was 25, 26, 26. I was trying to fill in a void of those things I was talking about earlier, of what I found out about myself later on in life. I was trying to fill those pieces in. So it was basically a plug and play thing. You know what I mean? Like, hey, yeah, you cool, check. You don't bother me too much, check. You get around these people, check. All right, cool, check. You can have kids, all right, shit, cool, check. Let's do it. It was just that simple for me, because, I was just at a point, I had some money and shit, and I was just really tired of, just out here, just hitting and hitting and hitting. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, I'm like, well, shit, at the rate that I do things, I'm either going to catch some or something's going to go bad. Yeah. So I was just trying to be smart about it, and say, hey, man, I need to settle down and go, try to, have a family and all this other shit. Mm-hmm. And like you said, at that time, I just didn't even really know myself. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And didn't really, and I feel like I chose, the wrong person. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And mind you, I was married 9 years, and some change, but I just don't think it was the right person. And hell, I didn't know what the right person characteristics were. I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? Because let me explain something. It ain't that hard when I'm paying for everything. We out in the country club out there. Tiger Woods live up on the hill up the top, got a house up the top, on the top hill, country club. You know what I mean? Shit, it ain't that hard. You ain't gotta do nothing. You ain't gotta do much. You don't even see me much. I'm at the facility most of the time. I come back. Of course, I'm tired, but it's like everything's cool, and looking back on it, and maybe that person put up with more from me than she normally would. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So it's like I'm not two people to really, well, I ain't gonna say she ain't no hell. She came out on top. You know what I mean? You came out on top. You got more money than you ever made in your entire life. If you ain't spent $1, you got that much for me. Yeah. So that's just how I look at it. I just think moving forward, like you say, I have a problem myself, still working on it, and that's putting myself first. If I go to the mall, I will have bought everybody else something instead of myself. That's just the way I'm trying to break it, but you know, it's not a lot. I don't feel like I need a lot, you know, as much as those people need stuff, need this, you know, and, but I'm working on that part, you know, but like I say, I think I would have just learned myself a little bit more and like y'all was saying, learning myself a little bit more and, been more truthful about the person that I was. That's, you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. And before I move on, as always, I remember, you know, joking with Jackie, you know, I was like, I said, you know, coming out of my situation, we gotta be truthful with who we are. Right. I was like, if you're an animal sexually, get you another animal sexually. I was like, I can't be with no. I was like, I remember telling Jackie, I was like, man, if I get into another relationship, this was before I met my current girlfriend. I was like, man, hey, they got to be an animal like me, because
that is very important.
I can't go through a situation where, you know, I'm too aggressive, and she, oh, stop, you hurt me. You know, we're gonna get into that type of situation right now. But we gotta be on the same page. We gotta be aligned, right? I mean,
that's true.
Yeah. That's so
true. I mean, that's very, very true, bro.
Go look for that somewhere else. You see what I'm saying?
That's the point.
Yeah, I agree. We've talked about it, and I think once again, all that encompasses the communication.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's the key, man. Because like Jamie said, like you said, Scott, it's like I was married almost 18 years together, 20.
Good God.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like,
you know, hang in there for a long. You don't hang in there.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So. But, you know, the reality of it is, it's just like you said, we're young. I didn't know what it was to be a father. I didn't know what it was to be a husband. I'm flying by the seat of my pants. And like you said, I know right from wrong. I know what's good, what's bad. In my mind, I felt that I was facilitating as I was supposed to, but there's no blueprint. There's no blueprint to it. There's no, so it's just like you just kind of figure it out. So I would say that's for all of us. I am glad we made it to where we are now to have this conversation and now to really live how we want to live and be who we want to be. So that's the key. Yeah,
man. No, that's awesome, man. But moving on, man. Wetumpka, Alabama. So only guy to come out to get drafted to play professional football. You got to be a legend in that town, man. And they should have a statue of you around there. You know that type of stuff.
Well, they do pretty good about that, really, man. I mean, you know, I got Key to City and all of that. And,
okay. Yeah, they showing love there.
No, they do, man. I mean, I'm all up through schools and all that stuff, and you know, everybody pretty much know about me for the most part. You know, but I don't really carry myself differently, you know, when I'm down there and stuff. You know, it's like a country place, so you know what I mean. They may see me, man. My jeans they kind of dirty. You know what I mean? My shoes ain't crisp. None of that. I still, you see how I be rocking. I got my military because I wanted to go to the Marines and shit. So, you know, I'll just be normal, but you know, people don't look at it like that. That's what I had to realize too. You know, people don't look at it like that. But I don't feel, you know, I don't know. I don't just be feeling like that. You know, like I'm any different and stuff when I'm down there and stuff. When I go to a game or something, you know, that'd be different because people always, you know, coming to you, up to you and stuff like that. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel blessed, man, because, you know, I know everybody knows my story down there. You know what I mean? They know, like, this dude, he didn't have none of what we had. None, dog. Like, none. I'm not just from the city. I'm from Dexter, really. way down there in the country in the back road. But down that long dirt road right there, that's where they found him at. He was down that long dirt road, dog. And you know, he somehow made it. I mean, I do speak to a lot of people about how and stuff like that, you know, the things that happen, and hopefully they could get something out of that. But you know, I don't know. That's just like my place of safe haven, man. Like when I go down there, man, it's all just so relaxed, and everything is relaxed down there, man. I ain't gonna lie. Like when I go down there, it's kind of relaxed, and you know, because I still go back right down there in the country. You know what I mean? I know everybody. Once we hit this 4-way stop right here, I know everybody back here. Like for miles and miles, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Like you can hear a car coming 5 minutes early. That's how where I'm at. And so that's pretty cool. But you know, it is a big accomplishment. Now when I look at it, it is when I go back and look at it now, it's like, damn, you know what? All these years, ain't nobody did that. And we've had a lot of people, but that were great athletes and stuff. I mean, I'm hoping some more people join me, man. You know, because we got a lot of talent and guys. But you know, it's such a hard thing to do, dog. You know, I don't sugarcoat that for people, man. People think I be being a little negative, and I'm like, dog, I ain't being negative to you. I'm just telling you the honest God truth, bro. So much has to go right for you for a lot of different years, bro. Like all through college.
Sure.
Then when you get to if you get to the pros, staying healthy for one season is a task. Like people don't understand, dog. You know, well, nowadays I don't know what they doing nowadays in they you know, how they doing the practices and stuff. You know, they got like so many padded practices, all this stuff. But you know, back then in our day, shit, you know, guys is really going hard out there.
Full go.
Yeah, and just to get through the practices week to week, you know, that long training camp. Man, that shit hard, bro. Like it's just hard. Then if you get hurt, then the next guy show what he can do. Shit, that's you know what I'm saying? So
next man up
to get there and last, it's like a tough thing to do. You know, things were just lining up for me. You know, I will say that, man. Things lined up for me. I was blessed in a lot of ways, and like I said, but also, you know, God was on my side, and I overcame a lot. You know what I mean? Like you say, 2003, I got the neck surgery. I had that neck surgery. All the doctors, everybody told me not to play football no more. You know what I'm saying? And I said, nah, I'm gonna play. And then I could have not played then, and I could have not. I signed a deal coming off of that. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up having my best season as a Niner that next season, and won the Ed Block Courage Award and all that. That was my. But look at it. It was 3 different head coaches in 5 years.
Yep.
See, that's another obstacle people don't get. A new head coach come through there, and he bring his whole staff in. Well, the guys on his staff might got their guys that they like. They, you know, they may get you on up out of there.
100%.
So they can bring their homie in there, and you know, they dude in there. You know, because that's what happened with the Niners. When Mike Nolan, I know when he came in there, he was getting guys out of there. Dennis Harrison was a pretty cool guy. But when Mike Nolan came there, bro, he just wasn't having nothing. He's the guy that traded me, and you know, and he traded me, and he actually came back later on in my career when I played for Denver. I had just led them in tackles in 2008, and they fired Mike Shanahan. One of the first hires that happened when Josh McDaniels came there was Mike Nolan as defensive coordinator.
Oh, you like that?
Boom, I'm gone. You see what I'm saying? That's just how it is. You know what I mean? But out of that lesson right there, right? You know, I think Mike Nolan's a jackass. Don't get me wrong, but kids can learn something about that too. You know, like people, you know, like. Not necessarily things can follow you, but just be mindful that, you know, that same guy, that same you was acting a fool with person, you know, might be the person that can help you later on, or it could come back like that just happened, and I'm up out of it. How I lead the team in tackles, and now I'm gone. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. But it works that way. But he in the UFL now coaching or whatever. But I don't like the guy. Still ain't gonna like him. But God still had a plan for me. But I don't know. It's just crazy, man. It's just hard. It's just rough these days. I don't know what these kids what they got to go through these days is different.
Yeah,
it's a different game.
Gotta play the game.
You better play it. We just saw that happen. We just saw that happen, dog.
We just saw it. Yeah.
Everybody be saying, I'm telling you, like, dog, no, bro, you have got to play the game. Yeah. I don't care who you are. You better play the game.
Yes, sir. No, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All the time. You better play it. And you mean tell me you can't say yes, sir, no, sir for 40 million?
Yeah, I will.
Let me say it first. Give me 5. I say it for you. You don't ever talk. I'll talk.
Hey, jump on the table and tap dance a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, man. Yeah.
I don't have any comments because you know how I feel about it, Scott.
Yeah, I know, Jackie.
That ain't me, Jamie. I'm sorry.
No, bro, I ain't saying that, but
no, I know it. I told it. I get
but
everything.
In talking to you, and just in with you, and you can tell. But see, you don't need no help in that arena.
Exactly.
See, that was already programmed in you.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? Had I come from a family like where he come from, I can't say that I might not been quite like him. And I'm not saying that wasn't really a problem.
Right.
It's just like, dude, I've been around some owners and stuff.
Correct.
It's different.
It's very different.
And let me tell you this right here. It wasn't nothing he could do better. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know why? Because that you did, and I'm gonna leave it like this. I ain't gonna say too much. You do know that these are the same owners that during all the concussion proceedings and all of that had the doctors saying that black people started out lesser in the brain than white people, than white players. You know, you know how long that racism stayed in the end zone? All right, that's enough, man. Get that shit on up out of here.
Yep.
Now what's in the end zone? So you think they can't? So when people say, man, y'all crazy, think owners of teams have colluded against this guy and this, I said they did it against older players filing for concussions, fool. They did it. It's documented. Google it. It's right there. The whole thing. But guess what? They can't keep putting that shit out there. Not when the $1 billion boys say, keep putting it out there, we're gonna close your whole system down, Holmes. And they and so it came out, it went right back on in. They put the end racism shit out there on the field. They took that shit back up off the field.
Yeah. Anybody go against them, man? And I'm gonna leave it at this, and we'll move on because this is something.
I'm just saying.
In 2001, I played the first XFL, and the stands were packed. Everybody loved it. One of the best times I ever had in my life. But Vince McMahon tried to go up against the NFL instead of where The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock was like, hey, he bowed down. Hey, blah blah blah, and they helped him. He was like, our league is going to compete with the NFL, and look what they did. They took his technology with the camera. They took that. All of a sudden, they signed a $14 billion deal with NBC because NBC had the XFL. So basically, they went to them and said, look, we'll sign this $14 billion deal. Get rid of them. If you don't have TV, you're done.
Monopolize the market.
Done. Yeah. If you go up to anybody, you try to.
Same thing.
The movie.
Listen, 1 billionaire is tough, but 32.
32.
But you know, Scott, what's the question I always ask? And I'll ask you the same question. What can you tell a billionaire?
Yeah.
We've asked that question.
Hey, we've all been there. You get a little money in your pocket. You get a little money. I'm gonna tell you.
Hey, you tell him what you want to tell him, but what he gonna do is what he gonna do.
What he gonna do? Hey, I'm always joke around. I tell people when I really saw. I'm in San Francisco and I never get this. Kevin Barlow comes and picked me up from the hotel with Buddy Prim, T.O.'s trainer.
Yeah, so, I know, but I work with Buddy.
Yeah, but so Buddy got me right, man. But Buddy,
Buddy did. Buddy got everybody right.
Yeah, they come pick me up, man. We go to the facility, and so this man, Kevin Barlow, the first he runs, it was a stop sign, so he just ran through the stop sign. I said, so I'm like, maybe he missed it. So then there was
not Barlow.
there was a stoplight. Right, there's a stoplight, red light. Dude, he didn't stop at no red lights. Just running. And so I'm driving. I'm sitting like in the back seat, buddy. So I'm like, and I think Buddy wasn't paying attention. He was like on his phone doing something, and I'm looking like, this dude, he ain't stopped at no red light. I was like, that's when I was like, dang, dude, get a little money in his pocket. He ain't. Hey, Barlow was on the chain, man. This fool ain't stopping at no end, following no rules.
Listen, man, I seen a lot though. I ain't gonna, it was a lot, man, and you just gotta think about it. That's and the billionaires paid 100 of him.
Yeah.
So imagine how they feel. Right? So you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? That people like, I can't believe Donald Trump, Elon Musk let Donald. What did you think was gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
How you think this man just? What are you talking about? Like, this man has the kind of money that he's literally just said, "Hey, man, I want to come in there and talk about, sit right down beside your president. I don't want you to tell him what I told you. I want to sit there too. I want to tell him. I want to, and that's where he at. Ain't been in no ain't been a mayor, ain't been nothing.
Yeah."
Hey, you hear me? And it's right there.
Yeah.
And the question of the day is this right here. Now, this crazy now. If Elon Musk was black, do you think he'd still be doing what he's able to do what he's doing?
No.
Exactly.
We don't have to answer that.
I know. I'm going. I can go on and on.
Right.
But facts are facts.
Yeah.
But next topic.
That's
Yeah.
But coming from Wetumpka, and you go to Vanderbilt, man, a prestige university. What was that a culture shock for you? Because here again, you coming from a dirt, here again, using dirt roads, country town. I know you had spent some time in Texas too, but going to Vanderbilt, which is in Nashville. Is it Nashville? Nashville, right? Which is now Nashville's becoming like the next Las Vegas almost. I'm sure it wasn't that then. What was that like, man? Making that adjustment from a small town.
Listen, it was definitely an adjustment. But it was, it was popping way back then too, man. Honestly, man, TSU right across the within State. 5 minutes, Fisk, Meharry, all of these places. So I was getting the best of both worlds. As far as the culture shock came at Vandy when I'm, in classes and stuff, you're not. I think we had like 200 and some blacks in the entire school out of 8,000 grad, 8,500 grad.
But you got to understand, Vandy's private, Scott. Oh, yeah, Vandy's private too. That's a private education.
Yeah. And it's not, you're not seeing a lot of. I mean, we got about 50 on the team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And about 8 on the basketball.
Few on the track team.
Few on the track. You know what I'm saying? So as far as regular students, it wasn't far. And then you got a couple of them that's on different types of scholarships and stuff like that. But it was. I mean, it was kind of like how the world is to me.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't a lot of people, bro. We ain't a lot. Mm-hmm. As far as the numerical, the number of black people in the United States is not as much as people think.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Despite how much you see us on the news and all this other kind of stuff, but it was intense sometimes because, like I say, coming in there and you got all these people in this class and they looking at you like you don't, like they looking at you like the only reason you here is because you play football.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, nah, because actually it's probably harder for me because I have to do all this shit and I still had to have the same shit you had.
Mm-hmm.
Now they may wait a little bit on it, you know what I mean? But just think about it. I got to do the same work you do, but I got to be up at 6 a.m, 5 a.m. I'm running, ripping and running, practicing everything. They ain't giving me no extra time for my homework to be in. They ain't, I'm saying mine do the same time yours do. But and you just do feel the pressure of just like, participating in class, it's almost like you want to prove that you belong there. You get, but I already knew what time it was. I was like, look, man, I don't have to try and use big words to confuse you. Because if I'm so smart, why do I have to use words to confuse you? If I don't think that you're on my intellectual level, why would I do that? I can still get my point across without using the big words, man. You get what I'm saying? And there's a time and place for that. Okay, so say we having a debate or something. Okay, yeah, I'll bring on out my big boy dictionary. I'll change the whole lingo up. You won't know that I'm from the country as much. Right? But just in ordinary classes and stuff like that, I mean, I just talk direct, but it just became a point where you just realize, like, you're not as smart as they claim. You're not either. Now he's brilliant. That type of thing. Like, because, if there were some super scholars there, I ain't gonna lie. And that's at every school, right? Yeah. But initially I was, there was an intimidation factor because, I didn't know what to expect. But one thing I can say is they don't play around about their schoolwork, there, boy. I used to call talk to my partner about the, at other schools and stuff, because I was at the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. So I had a couple people numbers and stuff. Ain't no basket weaving at Vanderbilt. Yeah. Ain't, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no physical education and shit like that. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, because I wish I had some of them there. But I'm just telling, like, they don't really be playing, and because it's not a big winning program, you're not getting a whole bunch of perks because you play ball. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? We don't. These people come to the game. They don't care about if we win or lose, dog. Some of them in suits. They're not out there now. They're starting to change that up, but they really didn't care too much about that. You know what I mean? So you had to go in there, because some guys flunked up out of there, dog. I tried to help some guys. I told them, hey, man, these people don't play about their work, and you're not all that good out there on the field anyway. Yeah. So you definitely can't be bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to get it together, and they take the school serious. You got in here, don't be playing like that, because they will get you up out of here. And some guys didn't make it. They couldn't last. Yeah. You got to take it for real, man.
You right. You like you said, they ain't keep doing your favorites. Ain't like you at University of Alabama and y'all win the national championships. And they can say, "Oh, we go, yeah, nah." But no, man, we'll let Jackie go ahead and fire away, man.
Man, I enjoy listening, man. So I be capturing a lot of stuff, man. So at the end, I got a lot to reflect on, and in your years of playing, man, you were around some great players, Terrell Owens, Garrison Hurst, just to name a couple of, guys. And I know you say you were a running back, and I think that's why, Garrison Hurst's name, of course, played with T.O., as you just mentioned, worked out with his personal trainer. What were some of the things that you picked up from some of those guys? Or did you learn anything from them as far as being professional, what to do, what not to do, being on the field, being off the field? Because that also extends to what your statement is of the longevity of just making it. And you're 10 years in now. You know what I'm saying? So having those, other, I'm going to say superb athletes around you, having those other mindsets and guys who understood what it took to be a pro, how did that help you?
It helped me tremendously. Like I said, I think after my rookie year, I got with Buddy Prim. T.O. told me to go with Buddy. You need to come work out over there. I mean, I remember, man, here in Atlanta, man, it was me, Buddy Prim. Matter of fact, it's me, Veron Haynes, Joyce Levens, Jimmy Ferris, Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Cromartie used to come. I mean, I'm talking about, the list was crazy of guys. So I learned, and I got that from T.O., man, really, man. Spend your money to keep your body right. You know what I mean? The injury stuff can happen, of course, but, spend your money to keep your body right. That's when I had a huge transition, my rookie year to my second year. That's when I came out that first game on Thursday night. It was like 16 tackle, player of the week, a sack, 2 tackles for loss. You know what I'm saying? And then came out the next week with like 9 and tackles for loss. You know what I mean? And then I ended up getting hurt again. You're right. But which was all freak accident stuff. But I just learned to keep, spend your money. You have to invest in yourself if you want to last in this league. And that was Garrison doing the same thing. All of them, you know what I mean? All the guys that stay long and play like that. Because I was around a lot of, that was just the guys in my beginning of my career. You got to think about when I went to Tampa, man. I'm around Simeon Rice, Rondé Barber, Derrick Brooks. You know what I mean? All of these guys. I go to Denver. I got Champ Bailey. John Lynch is there now. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of guys. Elvis Dumerville, he was younger than me at that then, but I forgot his Ebenezer Ekubon. You know what I mean? There was some guys that, you pick up a little bit from each one of them every time you go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But by that time, I'm like in my 7th, 8th year then, so I already know what to do. But I still learn little things from these guys, and you keep learning, you keep meeting different doctors, newer doctors. I mean, doctors that have caught on to something newer, right? And so, hey, we keep going. Like by the time when I was in Denver, shit, I was getting herbs from China over here, and I heat this shit up for like 30 seconds before the game, dog. Oh man,
yeah.
Balling. I mean, I'm on turn. You know what I'm saying? Legal and everything, but I'm just saying, like, it would wake you up to a max. You know what I'm saying? And like, but I never would have met him if I didn't meet him through people there. You know what I'm saying? So I was getting home that then by like 8, 9 o'clock, bro. I was getting cupping on my leg. My knee was sweating every damn day. I get cupping every day. You know what I'm saying? And then by the end of my, was steady getting shots, you know what I mean, before the games, all that shit, man. Just like it became like I'm like a NASCAR. My body was like a NASCAR, and I gotta keep pit stopping this shit every time. You know what I mean? Just to keep performing the way I need to. And it would work. It worked, man. So yeah, I learned that. I learned from a whole bunch of guys, man. I mean, shout out to all them cats, man. They really put me on it. I was steady putting younger guys on at the same time. Hey, you got to do this. You got to do that if you want to stay. That's all I'm saying. Because, and that's the old football saying, you can't make the club in the tub. And that goes for forever with football. So you want to be healthy, you got to go above and beyond. Even when you don't feel like nothing's hurting you, you still need that massage. You dig what I'm saying? You don't skip the massage because I ain't gonna spend that money. But in the middle of the second quarter, when you're wondering why that shit just got so tight on you, because it was coming.
That maintenance,
it was already coming.
Absolutely. That maintenance.
You just didn't feel it right then.
Absolutely.
So all of that, man, it helps, man. That's what they really helped me with, man. Making sure my body was straight, and because by that time, you already know the game. You know what I mean? You know the game football by that time. You know what I'm saying? It's just about staying available. Shit.
Yeah, like you said.
Yeah, ain't. Listen, by your 5th, 6th year, what new route you finna learn? Ain't no new route. It's the same routes. It's just called something if you go to a different team, but it's pretty much the same thing out there. The defenses, they disguise this and that, but we know what you got to get to. You better get back. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. It's a very simple game. Don't overcomplicate it. It might be disguised, but it's still a horse. That's a horse. It looked like a goat back there. Fool, that's a horse right there. Look right there. That's a horse. Look at the ears right there. Yeah, that's that dude. That dude right there. It don't matter about him walking down because he wouldn't do that if he wasn't gonna get his ass back. It's just that simple. Just gotta watch the film and see it.
Yeah. You talking my language now, man.
Yeah.
It's true, man. Like you said, man. I joke around with people. I say, man, you can't. If you got a Ferrari, you're not putting regular fuel in there. You ain't going.
No.
It's premium only. It's a certain type of fuel. And I saw something today, and it said, people think they own this, they own that. You don't own that house. You don't. Only thing you own is your body.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
And what you do with it is, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now here again, there's certain things that can happen that's out of our control.
Absolutely.
But like that goes back to what we say: control what you control. You control what you eat. You control how you exercise. The maintenance when you plan the maintenance, the upkeep. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. Yeah. So
I did change that up towards the middle of my career and stuff with Buddy too. The diet, I didn't mention that. You're right. Because but I wasn't doing that crazy shit that T.O. was doing. I wasn't going to change it that much, but I did alter it to make it better. You know what I'm saying? But
what was he doing? What was
T.O. he's still doing it.
Yeah,
he don't play. Man, Waffle House, bro. He finna get the grilled chicken joint. Not a lot of seasons and stuff on it. He gonna probably get the egg white joints and whatever fruit or something like that they got or something. He's still like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Egg white. I remember he was big on egg whites. I remember that.
Yeah, sometimes he'll just get the whole bowl of them joints. You know what I mean, and chicken or something. You know, and but I did pick that up. And that did help me a little bit, but I had to also realize, we don't play the same position.
No, exactly.
I need a little bit of fat on me because I'm taking poundings. I've watched him play a game and have 187 yards, 3 touchdowns, and never got tackled the entire game. The only time that boy touched the ground was in stretch.
Yeah, real talk.
But I'm a linebacker. Not gonna happen.
Absolutely.
Them big boys landing on me, man. I'm going up against 300-pounders, dog. Shit, man, it's a struggle, And now I realize why they want a linebacker to be 6'2", 6'3", 240 because of the pounding that he can endure a little bit better than me. Like if my shoulder's really hurt, it's still gonna be very, very hard for me to put that sling thing on it and go back out there and stuff and battle against the 300. But at 6'3", 240, I can handle that. I could be hurt a little bit more and still handle guys off. See, I couldn't do it like that. So I do understand why they want that prototypical guy to be that size. The bigger guys, I know why they looking at it like that. Yeah, because that was a struggle.
Yeah. Well, coming out of Vanderbilt, obviously, you were a second-round draft pick, which is, that's a major feat.
I left early, too.
Oh, you left early?
Yeah, I left I was a junior. I led the SEC. I should have been 3 years straight. I led the SEC in tackles 2 years straight. My freshman, sophomore, I was redshirted, though. But my freshman year, I led them in tackles. My second year, I led them in tackles. My third year, I got suspended for 2 games, or it would have been the first time in the history that's a player led the SEC 3 years ever, or back to back, right?
Yeah.
And and I went to jail and everything then. I not went to jail, like I got locked up, all of that.
Yeah. Dang. I mean, but it's safe to say, I mean, coming out of Vanderbilt, you knew you were going to go high.
Oh yeah.
Is that why you came out, because of the issue you had, the trouble? Was that what did that?
No, well, yeah. I'm gonna tell you, it was. So basically, when they released me right then, basically they were using me like a pawn, you know what I mean, to try and get to the chief police. They were doing an investigation on the chief police, and with as far as him helping the team with tickets. Because guys were getting tickets but never coming to court. And it was the officers that probably was complaining, right? And so, no big deal or whatever. And then I had a situation where the school, I got into it with a teacher a little bit, a guy that was in the military, but he also taught this class. And I didn't bring my book one day. And so, I guess he told the dean or something like that. And then I go to talk to the dean, and, he tells me, hey, man, if you miss another class, we're going to take you off the football field. And I'm like, what? I got an A in the class and I still have 2 excused absences. Like, I don't understand the problem, right? And that's when he told me, he was like, yeah, and he said something real slick that I didn't find out till later. And he was like, yo, and don't worry about me, because my job's tenure. I'm tenured. Right? At that time, I'm so young, I don't even know what he's really trying to say to me. He really that
I
was
ain't
like
going nowhere. That's what he's saying.
exactly.
He pretty much, I'm gonna be here. Yeah.
So it was like, so at that point, I made a decision that night that I was leaving college. Like, nah, because they messing with me in ways that I don't know, and like I fear that if I come back, hell, I'm not gonna make it to the next level because they gonna be something's gonna happen, bro. It's just getting too hot around here. I don't know what's going on. Here I am being messed with by stuff. I got an A in a class, and I'm being threatened to pull off the field. I'm getting this. They taking me downtown. The news stations are already waiting on me. What am I into? I'm not into nothing. Like you. No, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'll come back and get them credits, dog.
Absolutely.
So that's what I did.
Yeah. Did you know you would go as high as you did, or were you expecting to go higher? And what was going through your head when you got the call?
Well, I had a slight advantage in knowing what was what. Corey Chavis, who was really good friends with Mel Kiper. We used to go on. Me and Corey used to be in the car ride, and Mel Kiper called him and ask about guys and stuff like that. So I pretty much knew. Okay, so there's probably gonna be maybe. We knew Dan Morgan as linebacker was going in the first round. We just didn't know where. So depending on where he went, if I could slip in up there, the first round, but there wasn't a lot of teams that really needed deep backers. It was more so offensive tackles and stuff like that. And there was one tackle, I forgot his name, that kept dropping. That ended up going to the Raiders. I can't think of his name right now. But when he kept dropping, it's like reshuffling the deck. Everybody's falling because
that's how it goes.
This was supposed to be a premier guy.
Right.
It came out draft day about him and all some bullshit, right? And so I ended up going. I was the fourth backer taken. Still, I went in the second round. It was me. It was. Let me think. It was Dan Morgan from Miami, of course, from a winning school. He's baller too, though. He's 6. Big size, everything. From the number one team in the country, actually. Then you had Kendrell Bell from Georgia. And then you had Tommy Polley from Florida State, because they was Florida State was that then.
He wore the big neck roll.
Yeah.
And
then me. So, when I got the calls at my agent's house, and my family was there and all that, and I got the call, man. It's Coach Richard Smith, man, said, man, you ready to become a Niner? And I was like, hell yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, you mean? I was kind of skeptical because he worked the shit out of me at the combine.
Oh yeah.
Like when I came in the meeting in the interview room with him, dog, I had my hat like this, because I thought I was chilling and shit. Yeah. Man, them was straighten that hat up right now.
Damn. There you go.
I was like, damn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I was just like, damn.
Okay.
I thought this was supposed to go a little smoother than that. But, okay,
he's testing you though.
Yeah.
To see how you gonna react.
Yeah, and I had a good reaction and stuff, so I just straightened that mug on up, like, and then and drills. I mean, man, he was drilling me, bro. Like, I was like, dang, what you want to see me do? What you want to see me again for? Call somebody else. I mean, at that point, I'm at the combine telling my man, you need to call somebody else, dog. But I'm going through it or whatever, and so when he called, I was like, oh shit, man, that man about to work the shit out of me. But he's like, well, that was one of my best friends, though, dog. Like, for real, he saw something in me, and he wanted me to tap into it, and he was right. You know what I mean? He really was, man. He was like, yeah, you're pretty good, but you could be a lot better. I was like, yeah, you're right. I see what you mean, and he's the one that actually told me, get with T. I'm from it. You be in Atlanta in the off season. I want you to get what TOs do. And get with TO, and that's how that came about. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. Well, go ahead, Jackie.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, well, Jamie played 10 years in the NFL. The last couple of years and the latter parts of your season didn't end, to me, the way you wanted them to end, just due to the multitude of things that happened. You were no longer like a consistent starter, but you still had some gas in the tank. You still had some fire, right?
Yeah.
How did you deal with that, adjusting from being the man, now just a guy on the team?
Oof. Yeah, that was an adjustment. I won't lie, like that was I just had to humble myself, really, man, and say, hey, man, I'm just thankful to be out here, still able to play. You know what I mean, and able to go out here. And by that time, I had learned a lot about special teams and how to play it, and I was having fun at it, because that's where the younger guys was at. And I'm an older guy, and I'm like, yeah, man, turn up. What y'all saying now? Oh, let's do that. That type of situation. You know what I'm saying?
right.
They made me
Finding
feel
a way. Finding a way.
And
Yeah.
it was just a lot of fun with those guys, and they was like, "Come on, old school." They were calling me old school. Come on, old school.
OG.
Old school. Come on, OG. I'm gonna be at the club that you at before you get there tonight, fool. But that's what made it fun, man. It was the younger guys, man, and stuff, and at that point, by the time I have to play or something like that on defense or something, it's like whatever, it's cool. It actually became easier physically because I was used to playing defense and shit like that, a lot of snaps or whatever, and so it was really easier for me then. Now it's like shit, 20, 15 snaps a game, 20 snaps, that's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now what was hard was y'all think I'm the best guy for the job, and y'all got me at center.
You busting a wedge.
No, center on kickoff return.
Oh, you setting the wedge.
No.
Center is a person who comes down and they line up on you, right?
I am on the best person that they got.
You blocking the bullet. Because the reason why is because you're
a veteran.
You're no one else. If you're extremely physical, you're always fast. I remember that.
He can run.
Like you ran 4-4. I remember them talking. I remember when I got there, and we were in a film, and Coach Stewart was talking about you because we was watching the film. He was like, "Hey, when you run this," he was like, "You Winborn." I remember catch my team. He's like, "He can run now." So I just remember him saying that, and I remember somebody said he ran 4-4 the combine. So
but that shit is tough though, bro. I mean, like, I'm gonna tell you one time I had in my days I remember Sean Taylor before he passed.
I played with him in Washington.
Man, Jesus,
that's my animal.
I cheated. I was already lying back 5 yards. I cheated some more. I took off early. By the time I turned around,
he on you.
On me. Right. Way past me. Man, coach was mad. Like, what happened? Then we get that Monday on the film. We looking at the film. Coach was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "That's what I'm telling you."
Nothing you can do.
Coach, I'm talking about.
Nothing you can do.
That's what I was trying to tell you, dog. He is like a god out here. Like, this dude. Like this dude, he's running a whole. He's taking off. I'm taking off way before him, but he's so fast and making so much
covering so much ground.
He's able to loop way out the protection and back around.
Yeah.
And I'm still
he's avoiding everything.
Yeah, he's just that much of an athlete. Like, man, it was amazing out there, bro. But yeah, man, that was challenging. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was challenging. I ain't gonna lie. Like that right there, that was, I had that technique had to be perfect. Everything you had to get back there and get right. And that now, so adjusting to that was the biggest thing. Because like I used to be at the tackle sometimes and shit like that. Then they got to the point it's like, no, we want you right here. I was like, okay, because you're facing some really, really good guys. You always got like the 3s, 4s, and 5s. That's the problem I ain't like about that, because it's like, them the motherfucking beasts. Them the ones that be causing havoc.
Exactly, beaming down the field.
Yeah, man. But it was fun though, bro. I ain't gonna lie to me. Like I said, them young guys, man, they make it fun, man.
Yeah, man. Two things. I hated kickoff return because it's for that exact reason. It's like I remember vividly. I remember like when I was in Washington, and I never forget we were ready to play Carolina, and I'm looking at who I have to block.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you're on kickoff return, our special teams is mostly all linebackers and DBs.
Yeah.
And so I never get. I'm like, who I got to block? Let me see how big he is. And the scout report, they got his 40. Yeah. I never get dude. He was like a 4'5", 40. Man, this dude 6'3", 250. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
A Dayless Thomas type cat.
And I can't. And it's like I can't turn it down.
No, you can't turn it down.
I never forget, man. I'm coming. I mean, just boom. And I got them little receiver shoulder pass too. I just, when I get to the sideline, I'm like, oh God. I mean, you know what I mean? I got to be tough while I'm out there, but I'm like, Lord have mercy. Yeah.
And, they don't even do that. It's crazy because like nowadays they have it, but it's like that running start. They don't get that.
Do it.
They don't do it anymore. It's safety now. Everything is safety.
There's a lot of guys, that's their opportunity to make the team. But so many balls being kicked in the damn end zone, like what can you show them?
That you fast. That's why you run to the end zone.
That's about all you can do.
That's all you can do. That you can get down the field and obey what they ask you to do. That's all you can do.
Yeah, man. I just before we Jackie go ahead and go to the next part. I just got, man, shout out to Sean Taylor, man. I always say, man, because in 2004 I was there when he got drafted. I have never seen a rookie come in like this, man. 6'3" and change, 235. Man, could run. He could cover like a corner.
Yep.
Like I was like, oh my God, and just make plays.
Just making plays.
I remember our first game. I just remember we were playing in Miami. Strips, like as soon as he go in the game, strip pick. No, we was playing in the Hall of Fame game. We playing Denver because Champ had just went to Denver. We playing interception, pick six, and a forced fumble. Every game. This dude was doing this, man. It's crazy, man. Sean Taylor.
You know them. I'm gonna be honest with you. Them, them University of Miami guys, man. Them some special cats come out that school, dog.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna lie. A majority of them, even some of them that wasn't stars, like the magnitude of like what them guys was. Even just normal guys. Remember Benny Al Blades?
Al Blades, he was there. He was with us first.
Stupid athlete. I played with so many of them. And they all was like just amazing athletes and stuff, Man, I'm gonna tell you a problem that I had also. I had a problem with two Miami players, Sean Taylor, and Ed Reed was the punt blocker.
Oh yeah, he used to block them punts, man.
Man, when I say this dude, man, listen, this dude swam. I used to. This how it was. Coach had me. If Ed lined up on the right side, he want me on right wing. If he on the left, he want me on left wing.
For protection.
Man, this man done swam me, swam the personal protector, and still almost blocked the punt.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, we do this shit on the left side, then the boy we go on the right side. I'm like, Lord Jesus, please, y'all need to make a damn first down.
Yeah.
That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling y'all, we can't keep blocking a guy like this down.
Yeah.
This dude was amazing out there. I ain't gonna lie, dog. He was the best that I ever faced. As far as out there, because he's pigeon-toed, he's fast, and he can make it look like a speed rush so easy. But he pigeon-toed, so when he plant, it's like he has a jerk, a jump, and it's like you can't be late on it because he'll get by you, and he be so low.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, and I'm 5'11", but he lower than me.
Yeah.
This dude, man, he was crazy, dog.
Yeah.
They don't talk about that enough about him, bro. But trust me, he was a demon out there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that might before we move on, it was like they were talking about who would win out of that 2019 LSU team and then the 2001 Miami. And somebody started ripping off they draft picks. I was like, oh my God. Frank Gore, Willis McGahee.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? They started Clinton Porter. They started naming the backs. I was like, oh, dog, just the backs.
The talent they had, dog, I ain't gonna lie, like that was crazy. I mean, it had so many people, bro. I mean,
yeah, I know.
They third stringers, bro. Some of their third stringers became first rounders.
Devin Hester couldn't even get on the field. He had, you know what I mean? It's crazy, man. They were something else, man. But no, man. My last one, man. Like, so here's the thing, man. All and then Jackie gonna wrap this thing up for us, but all of a sudden, man, this is the tough thing. And we always say, like, that one of the toughest things about leaving a game is like nothing replaces that euphoria you get when you sitting there and that national anthem is playing, the preparation, the locker room, the bonds, the brotherhood. Yes. And it's like, there's people that, we don't keep in contact with, but you just lifetime memories, man. Just all that. And then just, like I said, man, just the bonds, so all of a sudden, man, there's no more cheers. There's no more locker room. You know, what do you miss most about the game of football and just the whole and everything is turned in terms of the locker room and things of that nature?
Like you said, just the bond, man, the camaraderie. You know what I mean? Just being able to go for 4 or 5 days, work on something, and to collectively together, man, we got to go play these guys, man. We got to go beat these guys, bro. You know, and they not, you know, and we got laughs and jokes and hard words, you know what I'm saying, all of that, and then like you said, we got to go. You know, I guess just going to battle with your buddies, man. You know what I mean? I miss that. That's the hardest thing, man, in the locker room and stuff like that. And like you said, after when the game is over, man, ain't no more cheers and shit, man. Ain't none of that. And the adrenaline you get to go out there and play, I don't think you ever have it again. You know, I mean, you really just don't. You know, because we're not playing anybody.
Yeah.
Look, I tried to race some kids across the street a couple years ago. I was blowing them out for the first 15 yards, and then I pulled my hamstring.
Yeah.
That's about that. But it was exciting because them little young boys was talking shit like they really thought they was good. Like, really? I'm like, you think I'm that old? That I still ain't got from here to there? Oh, man,
I can get
to
you.
try to give it to him.
Right.
And you know, but I ain't got it. It's over. But you know, and I was hyped, but I ain't have it. But you know, and that's what I miss, man. You know, like you said, this is as much as I get. You know, commencing with guys through podcasts, stuff like that. I do still go to the local to the NFLPA here, right? The meetings and stuff. I'll go there and, you know, see guys and stuff like that. But that's about as far as it get, man. That died the last day I walked off that field, dog.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man.
That's tough, man. That's tough, man. But it's gratifying, you know, and it's my last question. Well, it's a two-part question, so I'll ask the first half of the question. Knowing what you just said, you know, having the ability to, like you said, talk to the kids across the street, get out there, meddle with them a little bit, you know, because we psych ourselves out, like you say, we still got it. You know what I'm saying? But you being where you are now, you're 46 years old. You've had a decorated career. You've had some, you know, I'm not going to even call them setbacks. To me, you had moments of reflection that help you gain to get a better understanding of where you are right now. So in doing that, man, seeing and knowing what you've been through, learning this new way of living, what would you tell the 22-year-old Jamie Winborn?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Let me think. You know what? Well, first thing I tell him is, just to get buy that damn Bitcoin. I would have told him that. I had an opportunity.
Yeah.
But
we all did. We all did, man. We all did.
When it came about, I'm like, man, I'm from the country, bro.
I didn't know nothing about it. Exactly.
What are you talking about? Money that's fake money. I don't know nothing about that shit. I ain't finna get
see it. I gotta see that green.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. But anyway, I would have did that. That's the first thing. I'd be a billionaire right now. But really, you know, just save money, man, and watch the people that are around you. Just stay focused and on football and life, man. Just stay focused. Just let football be the main thing, and that's it, man. That's what I would tell myself, and just slow things down. But I mean, that's about all I could tell myself. I could, you know, save money and stuff like that because, you know, life is about experiences, and you learn from experiences. Some of them gonna be good, some of them gonna be bad. Just stay out the way, you know. Try to protect yourself. And that's about it, man. I couldn't tell, you know. I think I did a lot of it the right way, but you know, some of the mistakes I've made, obviously, I learned from them. So I can't, like I said, I can't take them away, but because if I don't if I don't tell the 22-year-old Jamie that, if I don't let him have those mistakes, then he don't learn, and he may go a whole nother course. But you know, save your money, stay out the way, watch people around you. Keep family the main thing, and I mean football the main thing, and keep your family close, and just stay out of trouble, man.
Yeah.
Outside of that, you have a room to learn.
Absolutely. Well, man, I my second part is more so statement and in wrapping this up with us, man. So first, Jamie, I want to say thank you. I really,
Appreciate
really
it, man.
do, man. Yes, sir. I want to say thank you. Cause man, I've learned a lot. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, and for me, Scott, know I am. When we're on camera, we try to be stoic. We have a good time, but there's a few things that you shared. I'm just like, whoa,
Glad
and
it helps.
yeah, it does because man, I'll share this, and Scott knows this. I am 99.9% done with the life coach NLP certificate, right?
Okay.
And your statements alone, when I hear it, it just brings that. I don't want to make it a less a methodical thing, but it's one of the things that it's framing. It's called framing. And what you've done, you framed a lot of things for me because you could have been that person saying, why me? And you could have been that person that said, F it, like this is it. You could have been that person that said, man, there's nothing left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to know what you endured, and it happens to everybody. Like you said, we're no different than anybody. But when literally the three of us have lined up with each other in some capacity, we've had some type of interaction. Now, you've dealt with a divorce that we've all dealt with. You've dealt with an illness of cancer that many people deal with, but just how you shared it with us, I'm over here like, and it was, you were able to say, you know what, I receive it, I accept it, but I'm gonna keep living. Most people couldn't have done that. Yeah. Most people, and like you said, like that lets you know who you are as a person, who you are as a man, your emotional intelligence. Scott speaks about this of how even though you from the town that you're from, you was like, hey, I got to do this, this, and this to get here. And once I get here, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay, now once I get this accomplished, because like you said, you're the first in many. You see what I'm saying? And just to have the mindset and the attitude, and not even that, the willingness to say, hey, somebody come with me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not about it. That selfishness was taken out because from your story, how can you be selfish? You see what I'm saying? Like I'm hearing, I'm like, how can you be selfish? And your life lessons will, whoever hears this, I'm just hoping and praying that they have an understanding. Like everything may not be the opportunity that you seek, but you make the best of every opportunity that you get, and that's what you've done. You see what I'm saying? That's what you've done, man. And just like Scott say, from being the man to now, have to take a lesser role. Being a second round draft pick, now having some guys who were possibly undrafted free agents, but still made it. But now it's like, Jamie, I need you to take a back seat to this. Hey, Jamie, your shoulder, whether it be whatever it was, your neck. Hey, I need you to take a back seat to this. And in your mind, I still got that fire. In your body, man, I can still get this done. But man, I just applaud you for what you've done since then. Not in that moments, but since then, you've made life your life. You've made it your journey. You've doing it your way. And man, I just wish you nothing but the best, man, because it's not, I don't care. It's not a whole lot of people that can sit here and say and go through what you went through and still be okay about it.
Yeah. I appreciate that, man. I mean,
yes.
I appreciate it. Like I said, I had to give thanks to the God and a lot of people that have always supported me and stuff like that too, bro. Like it was a lot of people in place that conversate, helped me, and just try to help me, So I mean, I'm just one man, just a guy. That's how it is.
Yes,
and,
but they say
that though, brother.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Good luck on that too, man. And if y'all need me for anything else, man, y'all already know. Hit me up. I'm with it, man.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. Just the counseling part alone, because me and Scott talk about that therapy. Like, it's not a lot of us that's, we too bravo. It's macho. Nah, man, I'm hurting. You know what I'm saying? I need help. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And so unless someone knows, no one reaches out that hand, man. So like I say, man, this has been absolutely outstanding information. I mean, the interaction, but the realness. And this is what Locker Room from Reality is about, man. So when Scott say, man, we got Jamie, I was like, man, I didn't expect this.
No,
I don't think Scott did. No, because nobody knew. I didn't know. I didn't know. I didn't know. I knew about, like I said, I knew about the neck. We heard about the shoulder. We heard about the incident because that hit the news. But your personal battle, nah, man.
No.
So, man, my hat's off to you, man. Scott, I turn it over to you, brother.
Oh, I'm done, man. Yo, you two, you two said it all, man. You said it all, man.
You gave a hey man, listen man, it's mic drop after that.
Man, we wrap that up, man. Another episode down, man. D.R.E.A.M.S Podcast, Locker Room to Reality. Jamie Winborn embodies all of that, man.
Absolutely.
And so, man, from us to you guys, hey man, peace.